Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the North Shore 9 podcast presented by FanDuel. This is Bucco Brew, powered by DeFair Coffee and Tea. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Jim Rosati. Jim, back in the house. What's up, buddy?
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy USA victory. It's a victory Monday.
Yeah, what a game. Honestly, what a tournament so far.
Everything that was hyped up to be, it was. It was. What a game.
Yeah, I mean, just the tournament in a whole, really. I don't know how excited I was going into this World Baseball Classic. I'm always like, you know what? I'll watch the games if I'm available. They'll be fun. But it seems like, I don't know, it seems like this go around has been really good. Like just outstanding baseball games being played.
I mean, the Venezuela one against Team Japan knocks Japan out. That was pretty exciting. And then Italy just doing Italian things.
Yeah, Italy doing what they're doing is pretty incredible. I mean, it's basically a team of guys who, you know, they're all from America. There's not too many actual Italians on that team. But
hey.
But yeah, I mean,
we both figured out we could have played if we were good enough.
True. We got DiNardo and Rosati here. Yeah, I think as long as your name ended with a vowel, you were eligible. So that's how that Italian team's going. But no, they're playing awesome. They're in the semifinals. So there's Italy versus Venezuela tonight to see who goes on to face Team USA in the finals. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Venezuela team super fun. The Dominican team, that team was incredibly talented and very fun to watch. That game last night, I mean, we'll get into it, but man, it was just the like every pitch seemed like it was important. It was like a game 7 of the World Series type event.
Well, that's why I love the WBC. I mean, in a way, it exposes how boring United States version of baseball is, because I just feel like everywhere else, like you watch the Dominican League, that's the environment it is down there, you know? And it's just like they bring that energy to all these games, and it's just so fun to witness it. We have to witness it from afar. You know, it's kind of cool. Also, so like the beat writers were there because of obviously the representation of Pittsburgh. You know, just a travel away from Bradenton to Miami. So just like getting their feedback of that environment also. Man, I wish I was there.
Yeah, last night would have been a great baseball game to go and watch. Like if there was a game in this tournament that I could have gone to see, it would have been last night. And like you mentioned, I mean, I think Jason Mackey was there, Colin Beasley was there. Not only were the Pirates represented, but like the city of Pittsburgh was represented. Yes. You had Paul Skenes on Team USA. You had Gregory, Soto, Dennis Santana, Oneil, Cruz on the Dominican Republic. And then on top of that, you had David Bednar, who, you know, Mars area high school alum. He pitched the 7th inning, a shutout 7th inning. It was interesting. He made sure it was interesting in classic David Bednar fashion.
He did.
But he got the job done. And then in the 9th inning, Bethel Park, Mason Miller closing it out. So yeah, it was, like I said, very, very well represented. Like Pittsburgh kind of showed out in this one. It was cool.
Yeah, they did. And like you said, it was kind of cool because it wasn't just the Pirates, you know, the team. It was the city of Pittsburgh. You know, again, David Bednar, who also was an ex-Pirate, and Mason Miller, as mentioned. So yeah, Pittsburgh was on the map last night in a big way, and they came out victorious. So it was a really fun and cool game to watch, I felt. And the fact that it was 2-1 was kind of interesting. I know a lot of people before. I mean, you watch the pregame, everyone's talking like, you know, 7-3, 7-2, some runs being scored, and like there was offense. There absolutely was some offense there, but the pitching and defense kind of came through when needed. So yeah, I want to talk more about the game and stuff. So let's get into that as you mentioned here. Before we do, little word of our sponsors: the Fair Coffee and Tea. So the Fair is a family and employee and owned operated business. They believe that coffee and tea are one of life's simplest and most accessible pleasures, and when enjoyed thoughtfully, can open your eyes to the here and now. They have 5 locations across the city of Pittsburgh, including their flagship in the heart of Pittsburgh's historic Strip District. Don't forget to stop by the Fair's new location downtown on Penn Avenue, right across from the Bradenton. Grab a cup and fuel up your walk on to PNC Park. Mobile ordering is available. Check out the Instagram for more details. And of course, that is at thefair.coffee. Jim, tell everyone how they can save themselves 30%, as you see on that code on the bottom right of our screen.
Yeah, put everything you need in your shopping cart at thefair.coffee and put in promo code NS930. It's NS930, and you'll get 30% off your entire order.
Good stuff. Great stuff.
Yep.
Speaking of great stuff, Paul Skenes didn't have his great stuff last night. And on top of that, faced a pretty damn good lineup, Jim. You're probably not getting, I mean, even the LA Dodgers are looking at this lineup and saying, how can we accomplish this next year? If, of course, there is baseball. So with Skenes not even having his best stuff playing for him last night, and him facing this DR lineup that has guys that are probably going to be in MVP talks year in and year out, the guy showed up. I know it was only 4.1 innings, but he showed up. He led this team to a victory. 1 run he allowed. And, of course, the bullpen came through in the clutch, right? And they did their job also, as mentioned. But Paul Skenes came through in the big stage. And as you mentioned, Pittsburgh. The Pirates were on scene. And he did the damn thing, man.
Yeah, final line, 4 1/3 innings. He did give up 6 hits, 1 run, 0 walks, 2 strikeouts. The only run was a Junior Caminero solo homer. I mean, it was a great tournament for Paul Skenes too. Overall, 1.08 ERA. I think he pitched 8 1/3 innings and gave up just that 1 run. So an outstanding tournament from Paul Skenes. But yeah, you mentioned, I mean, not the best. Again, like I kind of MF Wags here kind of says it in the comments section. Like, I don't know if you can say it wasn't his best stuff, because like this lineup was incredible.
Well, think about it.
So like, was he doing typical Paul Skenes things? Maybe not, but he was facing a lineup of Fernando Tatis Jr., Ketel Marte, Juan Soto, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Manny Machado, Junior Caminero, Julio Rodriguez, Austin Wells, Geraldo Perdomo. Like, I feel like the most important thing is just like, can you get through this lineup? And he was able to get through it pretty much twice, and giving up just the 1 run. Like I said, from a stuff standpoint, I didn't really break down the stuff. Like, he didn't have a ton of swings. He had 8 swings and misses, 4 on the fastball, 4 on the splitter. His breaking stuff. Well, first off, he didn't really throw a ton of them. Didn't throw a ton of sweepers. Didn't throw a ton of curveballs. Didn't throw a lot of changeups either. But it was kind of heavy fastball splitter combo yesterday. And yeah, like overall 20% whiff rate. You're used to seeing that number being a little bit higher for Paul Skenes, but he also isn't facing a lineup full of MVP caliber players every single day. So I'm not going to knock the stuff. You're just not going to have a 5-inning, 8 strikeout, no run performance against a lineup like this. Like, no one can do it.
And I get that, but also hitting 2 batters is kind of indicative of maybe Paul Skenes not having his best stuff and leaning on the fastball because he didn't have his best stuff. Like, he wasn't really locating well. The Junior Caminero home run.
That's more of a command issue then. Yeah.
But again, yeah, that's why I can say, like, he did it. I mean, when does Paul Skenes also hit 2 batters in 4 1/3 innings? Yeah, you can't really put that on the hitters, of the lineup. So again, I do think there is an argument to be made. He didn't have his, his best stuff last night. But like, I want to highlight, like, that's what makes Paul Skenes, I feel like, Paul Skenes, because it's said time and time again, in 30 starts, you're going to have 10 starts where you have your best stuff, 10 starts where, you're fighting through it, and 10 where you just don't at all. And Paul Skenes displays that. I mean, there's many times, not say many, but I mean, it's like any pitcher. You go out there, you just don't have your best stuff with you. He knows how to get guys out. I mean, this is the ultimate pitcher, right? He's not just a thrower. He is the ultimate pitcher, and he was relying on the defense. It was a lot of soft contact last night that was being made and whatnot. And again, like that's just what makes Paul Skenes so great, because again, like, I want to highlight, like he didn't have his best stuff with him last night, but he still got through this elite lineup, giving just one earned run. Yes, the one was off of a mistake and was a home run to Junior Caminero, and that's where, again, like, kudos to Caminero. Like, he's a stud as well. They're all studs. He let that one hang in, and he blasted that one out of the park. It happens, right? But it was a solo shot because he wasn't allowing, at that point in time, of course, many base runners on, and he just fought through and found a way to be victorious, because that's what Paul Skenes does. As long as he has a little bit of offense, and somehow or another, he got just that little bit that he needed last night too to still have that. And of course, don't get the victory, but like that's what happened. Like, it was kind of funny that the Team USA scores 2 runs, but that's all they needed last night.
Yeah, I'll concede to, like, it probably wasn't his best game ever, but again, that like you mentioned, that points to just how good the guy is, right? Like, he went up against,
yes,
this Dominican Republic lineup is one of the best lineups ever put together on a baseball field. Somebody said it last night that game was probably the greatest collection of talent you'll ever see put on a baseball field. And like, that includes Major League All-Star games. Like, those lineups last night were better than all-star lineups, right? Because in the all-star game, you've got people who sit out, and like, every once in a while you'll get a couple people who get into an all-star game who maybe shouldn't be there. Like, those lineups last night were pretty insane. Just to kind of run through some of that, like, there were 4 Rookie of the Year winners in the lineups last night, 32 Silver Sluggers, 8 Gold Gloves, 4 Platinum Gloves, 51 All-Stars, and 5 MVPs that played last night. Just an outstanding game. And yeah, like I said, Skenes showed why he's so good. I know there's like a lot of this debate between, like, hey, who's the best pitcher in the world? Like, is it Skubal or is it Skenes? I feel like a lot of the national people will tell you it's Skubal.
Well, it's not.
And like, after last night, like, I don't know how anybody could look at this and say, like, Paul Skenes isn't the best pitcher alive.
Yeah, I just want to throw in there, like, it might have just been to hype up the game, but when David Ortiz is talking, when A-Rod was talking, Paul Skenes the best pitcher on the planet. Like, that's how he's being introduced. They weren't debating. They weren't saying, hey, maybe him or Skubal, or he's maybe one of the best. It was highlighted. He's the best pitcher on the planet. Now, again, I'm sure that's to help hype up the game. If you talk to them afterwards, right, they might have that debate. But yeah, man, it's just so cool seeing him on the national stage like this. And like you mentioned, that lineup. And he just goes out there and shoves. And if, like, this is one of those situations too. Like, if you said USA was only going to score 2 runs, I don't know. That sucks.
I would have said they were done.
And this team held this lineup to just 1 run. Again, led by Paul Skenes as 4.1. And then afterwards, just the Pittsburgh boys coming in and shutting them down.
So a couple kind of like topics I want to talk about just stemming from this game. One, I was always kind of iffy on ABS challenging, but like, did last night not prove that we need ABS challenging?
You talking to someone who is rooting for Team USA or rooting for Team DR? Because that could
Yeah,
sway
but
things.
like, but right,
Some
like
things.
a game. I think that the behind the whole thing, like I'm not a huge fan of like challenging a ball one in the second inning or a strike one call in
Right.
the third inning.
Right.
Like, that doesn't mean a whole lot to me. But like in enormous moments when the game is on the line or it's a high leverage situation, it's nice to like make sure that those calls are right. At least in a sense of like there's no egregious ball strike calls that are deciding games. So that was one thing where like if there was one thing that kind of sucked last night, it was, man, this game, like there were two big moments where the Dominican Republic got rung up on
Yeah.
clear balls. Um, but again, it kind of goes to show you, hey, that's why ABS exists and why it's going to be in place this year is games like this, or just really games in general should no longer be decided by really bad ball and strike calls in
Yeah.
big time situations. So that's I guess that's refreshing to see. I mean, you can go back and forth. We can go back and forth and talk about how much the human element should be a part of the game or not. But like, it kind of sucked that that game was decided like that because it was such a good game, like
Right.
incredible talent on both sides, and an umpire kind of messed couple things up.
Yeah. I mean, the right thing to say is you didn't do enough to win the game.
Yeah,
But I'm sure, people in the DR or even fans are walking away from that just saying, like, what if? And that's what the ABS was designed for. So I'm with you. And I think spring training, it gets overused. I don't think it's going to be used as quite as often as it has been. But again, like it is spring training. That's why you do use it. The players are getting adjusted to this and such. But like, yes, that's why ABS was implemented for moments like that, because like get it right. It's not to be out there challenging every pitch. It's to ensure that those ones and those big critical moments, you know what? Let's have a better look at this, because I'm not walking back to that dugout when I just stood watching ball 4 and now you're striking me out and deciding a game. That's where it absolutely is critical. And I think there is room for it in the sport. And I do like ABS. I think visually too, I think the fans can get behind it and get into it. But I will say this too, like it is funny because like Paul Skenes did get some strikes that were borderline, and they're there were balls. And as Pirates fans, we're gonna have to get accustomed to this also, because Paul Skenes is the best pitcher on the planet, and he now does command that respect from umpires. So when they somewhat give him those strikes, they could come back. So I'm also interested in how the Paul Skenes effect comes. Not that he's Greg Maddux by any means, but he has some filthy stuff that sometimes they're balls.
yeah, and then just combine that with Henry Davis has shown to be a really, really good
Right.
framer where he's
Right.
stealing some of those strikes. So like how much of Henry Davis's value gets taken away because of this, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be balls that he steals and turns into strikes throughout the game. Some borderline ones, but it's not going to be as bad as it's not going to be as, I don't think it's going to be as evident as before. Just kind of that catcher framing skill. So
Yep.
the other thing last night led me to think about is, Donardo, I have the itch for big time baseball now. Like dude, like this game, it was just such a fun game. Every pitch was so much fun. And first off, before I wasn't sure how much I loved this tournament being in March. I love this tournament being in March. There's nothing better for the Major League Baseball season in terms of like a promotion or like getting your fans amped up than this. Like opening day being a week and a half from now is like killing me. Like I got to wait another 10 days for baseball. Like, are you kidding me? But it's more than anything, like just, and also seeing Paul Skenes on this stage and seeing Oneil Cruz on this stage. And like I said, the Pirates have been pretty well represented throughout this tournament. Seeing these guys in big moments, in big games, I need to see them do that on the Pirates. Like I need big time baseball games in Pittsburgh because it's been so long. It's been over a decade since we've had games that really matter that much.
It has. It has.
It's addicting. Like now that I've got a little bit of a taste of it, it's like, all right, Pirates, I need some more of this. Give me some more of this.
That's also what I kind of like the WBC also. Like you're talking about, like as a fan perspective towards the sport, like absolutely. You know, like this is great. It's great promotion. It's a wonderful thing to have at this point in time, I feel like, for baseball. But like also look at it in the players thing. Like you mentioned, Paul Skenes is on that big stage. And like we know how cerebral Paul is, you know, and having him around all those people, it's like who knows how much more he's even taken back from this. Oneil Cruz in that environment, like how much taken back, like all these guys, because this USA takes it serious, but like especially the other countries, I mean, they do. This is big, you know, for again the country, the team, and everything. So it's like having all of them in this big environment, and now coming back and like getting that taste. Like you said, you're craving it. I wonder how much Paul's craving it. I know it's a pretty good bit, you know, but it's like all the players individually, like coming back from that. Also, it's like I'm fired up, you know, like now I'm back in Pirates camp, and you know maybe Oneil Cruz sake as well as, you know, like this was huge. Like I want this also. And the Pirates are kind of building something here. So it's like, how much are they coming back to camp craving that also? And it's like, guys, let's effing do this. I want to get back there and playing this type of baseball because that was fun. And, you know, AJ was here just not too long ago, and he talked about this environment that I never witnessed, but I just witnessed something that he talked about that was similar to this. And like, yeah, let's do that. So I don't know. I hope maybe it gets the players' juices going also some.
Not only does it get the players' juices going, but like it's valuable experience too that a lot of these players don't have. Like Paul Skenes has pitched in some pretty big baseball games. He went to LSU, he's pitched in Omaha, he pitched in, you know, big time college baseball games, but he kind of hasn't pitched in anything all that big in the last couple years. There's all-star games, right? And you can tell he kind of takes those pretty seriously. But so there's a couple all-star games, but the World Baseball Classic, though, it's just on another level from all of those things, and the atmosphere adds to it. Like Paul Skenes going through that experience last night is a big developmental moment for him. You know, he's never going to face a team like that ever in the majors.
Right.
Like if the Pirates somehow end up in the World Series and they're facing the Yankees or the Blue Jays or the Mariners or whoever it may be, that lineup is going to be not even half as good as what he just faced. And the atmosphere might not even be on similar levels. So it's like just going, like Paul Skenes being able to go through that last night is huge because now, you know, ultimately the goal of all this to kind of tie it back into the Pirates is we want Paul Skenes pitching in big time games in October. And it's great practice. Like, that was great practice last night. That was outstanding practice for what you're going to see in a postseason game where you've got to win. And he showed up, and he probably learned some things from it. And the next time he does it, hopefully this October, it's going to even be better.
For sure. For sure. And to go back, like you mentioned, the dude shoved. Again, last night we had a discussion about it, but the game before was the complete opposite. I mean, that guy was feeling himself. No one was touching him. And, you know, he comes out of this 2 games that, like you mentioned, like I just feel like this is invaluable stuff, you know, again, for a player like Paul Skenes, who craves this so much. I mean, this guy wants to win. You said about, taking the All-Star game serious. I mean, this is the guy who he takes everything serious. Everything is relevant in Paul Skenes' eye. Nothing is like, oh, it's just an All-Star game. Let's just have fun. No, it's, how much can I take back from this? How much can I learn? See, all these minds are going to be around. I'm going to be on the big stage here, throwing out the first inning. I'm going to disappear. And unlike Paul Skenes, he doesn't disappear from the bright lights. What is happening? I thought I fixed this camera.
I don't know. That's 2 shows in a row where you've just disappeared too. So
the point was fine.
Nah, that's a good point.
But anyways.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. And again, it's just it was cool to see, but more than anything, it kind of gave me that itch where it's like, okay, it's time to see I want to see more of this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, anything more on the World Baseball Classic?
I don't think. No, we didn't. I mean, we talked about him more last week, but just to kind of say, like, it was nice seeing Oneil Cruz. It was limited, but it was nice seeing what Oneil Cruz did this WBC, because that's a guy who balled out as well as every opportunity. And even with last night, he did pinch hit, was a big moment. He didn't strike out, wasn't the prettiest at bat, but put the ball in play, advanced the runner, almost beat it out. Like I'll say that.
Yeah.
The dude almost beat out an infield single up the middle.
Just like a routine grounder to shortstop.
Yes. Yeah. So, like, he didn't strike out, made contact, didn't do much in that, which thankfully, because again, we're rooting for Team USA, but he had the ability to tie the game or, win the game, a walk-off. Miller's up there pitching, he throws gas, and, was it a full count at one point, or was it just 2-2?
It was a 2-2 count.
Okay.
But not, I thought it was a pretty good at bat. I mean, he took a first pitch breaking ball, and I feel like Oneil Cruz, especially in that type of situation, is going to lean on being aggressive. So like taking that first pitch, now it wasn't a very competitive pitch. It was like way outside. So that was on Mason Miller. But then took another changeup down in the dirt, and yeah, it was a huge moment for him to step up in, and he's facing a pitcher that's insane. I think he struck out Caminero on 4 pitches, just basically fastball, and then got him with a slider to end the at bat.
Yeah, it was filthy, that one.
Yeah, I mean, Mason Miller's nasty. So yeah, it was a good at bat. He hit it hard, hit it at 100 miles per hour, expected batting average of 300. Like, if he's doing that against that type of talent and he's that dialed in, yeah, hopefully we end up all right. Yeah, part of me, I wasn't really sure what to think in that situation, because an Oneil Cruz home run would have walked it off for the Dominican Republic. And it's like, man, that would be really cool. But then at the same time, I was like, I want USA to win. So
right.
It was that was a fun moment in last night's game as well.
So for me, it kind of was like maybe the best scenario. He got out, but he didn't strike out. He put the ball in play. And again, like, he also beat it out. I mean, you mentioned it was a 100-mile-an-hour hit. Like, it wasn't like this soft hit. I mean, he hit the ball hard and still almost beat this ball out. So again, if you want to understand why people get excited about Oneil Cruz, even on the ground out, he makes it look exciting.
Exactly.
So that was funny. That was really it.
But also, dude's fast, and he hustled and he tried. So maybe that too, like, just the atmosphere of all this. I don't know, maybe we see an entirely different Oneil Cruz this year. So.
Would be very nice.
Yeah,
would be very nice.
All
40 back on the table, right?
Hey, 40 homers is a lot. That's a lot of homers. 20-40 is on the table. Absolutely.
All right.
I almost did that last year, like Tyler pointed out on Friday.
Yep.
And that was a terrible season for him. And he almost put up 20 homers, 40 stolen bases.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna take a quick break from our sponsors, and then we'll be back to talk about the fifth starter situation.
Boom.
This episode This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack hydration sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way for you to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. The Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. My personal favorites so far have been the almond butter chip and the iced tea lemonade hydration mix. It's just really full of flavor. I love starting my day with it, and I couldn't imagine starting my day with anything else other than IQ Bar products. Right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
You know, Jim, ever since I've had an IQ Bar, I've yet to mispronounce Jose Urquidy's name incorrectly.
Look at you.
Just saying. Speaking of Jose Urquidy, not the greatest start yesterday. Let's talk about this fifth starter battle, because I know we've been talking about it. I feel like, every show, and of course, every show it's relevant, but we're now 3 weeks into this. It's getting closer. I mean, we're now, 10 days to opening day? And
yeah,
with that being said, like, the battle's really mattering. Who is going to be the fifth starter when, of course, they need one, but Urquidy made sense. He lines up. The history of being injured is there, but when he's not injured, he's been productive. He comes from Houston. Bill Murphy, knows him, familiar with him. There's that. Mike Clevinger, potentially an option as well. That guy was a stud back in the day, but it's been a while since he's been that dude. There's Hunter Barco, like on the outside looking in. He's a lefty. He's within the organization. There's talent there for sure. But I think ideally, right, we talked about the Pirates probably want him to ramp up, and that would happen in AAA first. Is Carmen Mlodzinski coming out of the woodwork and winning this job? And if so, rightfully so?
I'll say this. I am most comfortable right now with Carmen Mlodzinski in that role. So then you just have to weigh, is it better to have Carmen in that fifth spot? Or is it better to have Carmen where he's going to be a dominant, lights out, multi-inning reliever, and that's valuable in its own right? If you haven't checked it out, Alex Stumpf, if you haven't heard, Alex Stumpf is doing a daily 15-minute show Monday through Friday with us. So make sure you check it out. His Monday episode's already out. But on Friday, he talked about Carmen Mlodzinski and really just how last year went for him, how he started off the season as a starting pitcher, got knocked around, specifically against left-handed hitting, got sent down, worked on some things, came back, and he was really an entirely new pitcher. Came back with a new pitch arsenal, added a new splitter, and that splitter is what he used to attack left-handed hitters the second half of the season. And the second half of the season, left-handed hitters did nothing against Carmen Mlodzinski. So that's kind of the makings of a starter. One is, can you get left-handed hitters out as a right-handed pitcher? And two, can you do it more than once? Can you do it a second time? Can you do it a third time if necessary? We don't know the answer to the last two questions, to the last question there. Like, can he do it more than once with this new arsenal? Because, he was a reliever the entire time. But with the improved results that he got versus left-handed hitters, I'm kind of leaning towards let's find out. Because if Carmen, out of all those guys that we're mentioning here, and I'm kind of taking Hunter Barco out of the mix just because I I just don't see Hunter Barco making this team.
Right.
I think there's a path. I just don't think it's going to happen with the arms they have available on opening day. I think we'll see plenty of Hunter Barco in 2026. I just don't think it's going to be on the opening day roster. But out of those three guys, those three brothers, the Urquidy, Mlodzinski, and Clevinger, Mlodzinski has the highest upside, and he's probably got the highest floor too. So, like, at this point, that's probably where I'm leaning towards. Urquidy has not looked good. You have a couple options with him where you could either send him to the bullpen, or like I said, it hasn't really been officially announced, but Alex kind of hinted to it when Urquidy was signed that there may be some advanced consent here on an additional option for him. If that's the case and the Pirates are able to option Urquidy to AAA to continue to work on being a starter, and then you can call him up if needed, maybe that's something that they do here.
Right.
I do think Clevinger, March 20th. So that's what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's Friday. So by Saturday, you could see a roster move for Mike Clevinger, because he's got an opt out in his contract. And that's thanks to Ethan at MLB Spreadsheets. So my guess here, and from where I'm sitting, Mlodzinski 5th starter, Clevinger to the bullpen to take that multi-inning relief role, because I think it's more important to have a starting pitcher who you can trust than a reliever. And the upside with Mlodzinski with this new pitch mix, it's interesting enough that it makes me at least want to try it out. And you know what? If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, you should be able to quickly pivot without really doing a whole lot of damage here.
You know, a 5th starter is 20% of their starts, 20% of the games. Like, it matters, you know? I mean, I don't want to like just throw away like, oh, who cares who the 5th starter is? I mean, it does matter. If that 5th starter is terrible and they're allowing, I mean, like, think about this. Think about how Mlodzinski looked last year in that role, right? If you're constantly giving up runs and looking that bad, you're throwing away, you know, almost 20% of your games in that sense. So, like, there is something that matters to it. It's like you're saying, the relativity to it. Does it matter more to have maybe a marginal upgrade than what Urquidy is or Clevinger at that 5th starter, or having that lights out in the bullpen as this long guy, you know, used multiple ways? And, you know, again, like, I think ideally Mlodzinski as that reliever, you know, that weapon in the bullpen, going back to, like, again, we talk about how like DaVinci was used in Houston for quite a bit. Like, that's a real weapon, and that's where I want to see Carmen Mlodzinski. So, I mean, it's like the problem is I want and need Urquidy to do more. I want and need Clevinger to do more, because, like, I want and need them to win that spot. So it's like going back to the Colin Connor quote that leaves no doubt to say, Carmen, just go back to the bullpen. We're good. But they're not doing it. And that's the problem. They're not. So now you have to concede what is best for the team. Is it best to have Carmen there as the 5th starter, which again is still 20% of the starts, 20% of all your games to some level, or having him in that multi-inning role? And at this point in time, because of how they're looking, I'm starting to lean that way. Now, there's still some time, and I still also go back and just feel like, you know what, Bailey Falter looked like trash in spring also. And then his first 5 innings in Miami was trash. And we were trashing Bailey Falter. And then it was like, you know what, that was one of the best 5th starters we could have asked for in a long, long time. And maybe it's just hopium coming in as well, that like, hey, maybe Urquidy is just having a bad spring. The underlying metrics don't look good, but hey, I mean, they didn't look good for Bailey Falter either. And it's not like Urquidy is much different of a pitcher than Bailey Falter. It's not like he was a strikeout artist and now he's not, and he's lost it. You know, I mean, He's doing what Urquidy does. It's just not happening. So I'm still mixed, man. I'm still torn. I'm not sold yet on Mlodzinski, but I'm absolutely open to the idea. And what Alex said, and also, and of course, if you're listening, Alex, maybe we've made a mistake having you on because I'm tired of you changing my mind. I listened to Offbeat and I'm like, damn it, Alex changed my mind on something again. I was really opposed to having Mlodzinski, but like now hearing him say, and this stuff's all valid, you know, and I'll say this after seeing his last start, like, dude's got some stuff. Dude's got some stuff. And he is pitching really effective, you know, this spring. Maybe again, I'm open. I'm still leaning and pushing like someone win this job. But if they're not, I feel okay with Carmen Mlodzinski getting the 5th starter role this year, much more than it did last year. And even seeing what he did last year when he got the role, you know, I'm still more comfortable right now in him winning the job.
Yeah. It's it's gonna be an interesting case here because I feel like right now, like Mlodzinski looks like the best option. Like if you just let's pretend that like this was truly a competition and it was like, okay, best pitcher wins it.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a race. Like it's Mlodzinski, you know?
It's not close.
And I want to point something out here, and I'm going to share a screen just so, you know, kind of present with the visual. If you're listening to the show, just know that I'll walk through this as well. But this is Carmen Mlodzinski's last start. So this is his, you know, his StatCast page, and hopefully you can see it. But the thing I want to point out more than anything, one, like he's getting that you can see that splitter is what he's leaning on against lefties. Against left-handed hitters, he's throwing that splitter 47% of the time. The splitter also had a 36% whiff rate when he threw it. But the thing I want to kind of present to you and point your eyes to is this velocity chart where it breaks down velocity by inning. Like his velocity started off at 95, then went to 95.3 in the second. 94.2, 94.6, 94.1. So like what that kind of shows me is like the stamina's there. It's not that he's breaking down, you know, as the game goes on. It's continuing through. I mean, and he threw 70. One thing I hate about the new Baseball Savant. Okay, he threw 64 pitches, right? And he maintained his velocity throughout his entire outing. Jose Urquidy yesterday, if you look at this velocity by inning. So I'll zoom in. Or it doesn't even work, but started off at 93, dropped to 92.4 in the second, then 92.2 in the third, and then 90 in the fourth. His fastball lost 3 miles per hour from the first inning to the fourth inning, which shows me just like, can this dude actually pitch that long? Like he's never really been known for having an outstanding stuff in terms of his fastball. And, you know, he hasn't really pitched a lot these last 2 years. So like how much can you really expect from this guy, especially going deep into a game? So like is Jose Urquidy maybe better suited off for a role where he can just go max effort for 1 or 2 innings? Because I'm telling you this, Jose Urquidy, if he's throwing 90-mile-per-hour fastballs in the fourth inning, like that's not going to work.
Oh no.
The other stuff and the command isn't good enough for him to throw 90.
And it's not as if he gets by because he throws heat, but there's still a difference between 93 and 90.
Yeah. 90 as a right-handed pitcher in Major League Baseball in the year 2026 is not good. Not good. Unless you have pinpoint control and you have extremely good secondary pitches, 90 from the right side just doesn't work. And Urquidy doesn't really have those other qualifications. He's fine. He's well-rounded, but like there's no elite option there to kind of throw you off. So I just wanted to share that because I feel like that was a big red flag for me this weekend. Was Urquidy broke down, and again, it's March 16th, so he's going to get another start. He's still building his arm up, but he broke down pretty good. You can't be throwing the ball 90 miles an hour in the fourth inning. And Mlodzinski has shown that at least the velocity holds up throughout the outing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're alluding to. It's a two-way street. Like, it's not even just that Urquidy's not holding up, but as you point out, Mlodzinski, and like the damage in that game from Mlodzinski was all done early. He didn't. It's not like he fell apart and then they scored the runs. I mean, home runs like it happens.
It was a 2-run homer by Adley Rutschman.
Right, like it happens. That's gonna happen. That's the only runs he gave up was those 2 runs, and he continued to maintain throughout the start. That's what was impressive. You know, that's what's making you sit here going back and thinking like maybe we can try this experiment as a starter again, because Paul Skenes went 4.1 and gave up a home run. Carmen Mlodzinski goes 5 and gives up 2 runs as their 5th starter. Like that's again, like that's perfectly fine. That's what you're wanting from your 5th starter. So again, like this isn't just the fact that those 2 aren't winning it. It's like, oh, we got to default to Mlodzinski. This is part of it is they're not winning it, but the other part is, you know, Mlodzinski. All right, things are different, you know. And I always hound on this. If things are different, I'm open to hearing it. It's not just like, oh, the results are better, but I think it's the same as last year. Right. I mean, he came in last year. We talked and discussed, and he worked on the splitter. He worked on the pitch mix, right? He adds that curveball, which has been tremendous. And that's what he's like bringing into this year. And things are be different. It's like, let's try it again. Let's run it back, but we're going to run it back as a different pitcher almost entirely. And so far, he's looked fine. So again, this isn't just the fact that these 2 aren't winning the job. It also is part of the fact that, like, you know, Mlodzinski is different. And he's doing things that you want to see from a 5th starter. So he's actually winning the job. And again, it just comes down to, is that difference between an Urquidy as a 5th starter and Mlodzinski as a 5th starter way more than Mlodzinski in that bullpen role? And now that being, like you mentioned, maybe an Urquidy or something. I don't know. But again, that's still 20% of your games as a 5th starter. It matters.
Yep. Last year, the Pirates went 3-6 with Carmen Mlodzinski as like a regular starter. Now, keep in mind, I think as a team, they were like 8-20, like halfway through that stretch. So
I was gonna
there's that. They were just a really bad team last year, but they lost twice as many games as they won with Mlodzinski starting.
Yeah, what I was going to say is in that same stretch, they also go 3-6 with Paul Skenes. Do they? They probably went 2-7.
Right, exactly.
But anyways, it's interesting. I'll definitely say that. I mean, these next 10 days, there's still something you want to watch is these 3 guys, because this 5th starter battle is interesting at this point in time.
Yeah, there's everybody's probably going to get at least one more start. Maybe even 2. No, one more start for the most part. And again, as Ethan points out in the comments here, like a decision might have to be made on Mike Clevinger, you know, by the end of the week.
Yeah. Who do you feel is the safest, Clevinger or Urquidy?
What do you mean by safest?
To make the roster on opening day.
I would still say Urquidy at this point, just because he's the one on the 40-man roster. But I mean, I could see. I'm starting to get to the point where I don't know if both are going to make it. Yeah. But I am leaning more and more towards Clevinger being on this opening day roster. In terms of like,
I just say that too, because I feel like, yeah, if there's a guy that is also suited for the bullpen role because they're not winning the 5th starter, I feel like that's more of a Clevinger than an Urquidy.
Yeah.
But you're talking about he is already on the 40-man. He's getting paid a salary.
Right.
So again, that is why this whole battle is interesting. There's a lot of things that could implicate, the opening day starter or opening day roster.
Yeah, I think if you're the Pirates and you start with Clevinger in your bullpen on opening day, the reason why you're doing it is just like, hey, I'm gonna use this guy to get me through,
Yeah.
a couple months, and maybe I catch lightning in a bottle, but like if we're talking about who's going out there and impressing and winning the job, like Clevinger hasn't won the job by any means.
Right.
Urquidy certainly hasn't, and so if this was something that was up for grabs, yeah, Mlodzinski's making the most of the situation so far.
There it is. Well, I have nothing more to add on the fifth starter, but I do think people, and that's I think what we're trying to do here. I do think people need to take the Mlodzinski thought seriously. There is some validity to it. This isn't just like, oh, the Pirates are like they're idiots. They're just doing the same thing over and over again. There's something a little bit different. And I'm not here to tell you that Mlodzinski is the answer. I'm not here to tell you that he will be a good starter, but there is some intrigue on that. So let's find out what happens, I guess. Outside of that, we want to talk about some announcements.
Yeah, so we've already dropped the information about the tailgate, right? So the tailgate is April 18th. It's Paul Skenes bobblehead day. It's a Saturday afternoon. The tailgate's going to be at noon. If you've been at our tailgates before, you know kind of where we set up. We're in the Gold Lot A. Noon tailgate. Primanti's is catering. We'll have water for you as well, but it's BYOB if you want to bring any alcohol. Games of 4. Everyone gets a Paul Skenes bobblehead night. Bobblehead. So what's cool about that is you don't have to leave the tailgate early to go wait in a line to make sure you get a bobblehead. Everyone in attendance gets a bobblehead. If you've got a ticket, come to tailgate, then go to the game. If you don't have a ticket yet, we have a group section that is just for our listeners, for our viewers, that I'm super excited about. We dropped that link yesterday. So it's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We dropped that link, Discord. I'll go ahead and make sure that it's in the description of this video in the podcast as well. But it's a link to get into our group, and the group gives us a few perks. One, you get a ticket to the game. You get to sit with the NS9 gang, and all NS9 listeners and viewers. So it's going to be a really fun time, I think. 2, your ticket comes preloaded with $10 in loaded value. The Pirates were able to chip that in there. And then 3, if you stay after the game, we're going to do a group photo on the field following the game on April 18th. So lots of cool perks to get that in. Again, very limited amount. So if you're thinking about going, if you want to go, like I would get on that ASAP, because tickets are going pretty fast on that.
Yeah, we have 48 tickets remaining. So again, if you're going to the game, come with us, have fun. We'll be at the tailgate. You'll get Primanti Brothers. We'll have their catering, so we'll have some food beforehand. Have a good time. Head over to the game, and again, the $10 of load of value on the ticket alone is pretty cool. But then go on the field. Go on the baseball field where maybe Paul Skenes will pitch or not pitch. I saw you in the Facebook comments when someone asked, do you think he'll pitch? And you're like, there's a 20% chance he will. Yeah. So yeah, 20% chance he'll pitch that day.
Skenes pitches, yeah.
There it is. So I'm excited for this, though. We had a lot of fun last year. We had a group setting as well. This is a little bit different, obviously much bigger as well. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. And again, the fact that everyone gets that bobblehead, that means no one has to leave the tailgate early. You'll get it. We'll all have fun there. We'll all walk over together, potentially get our bobbleheads, sit down, and hopefully watch a good game against the Rays. So go ahead and get your tickets. They're on all of our socials. You can find that on our website as well. Jim just dropped the link in our chat. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can find it there. We'll put it in the description as well for the podcast. I'll update that.
Yep.
And outside of that, again, Alex, we know about the new show Offbeat. He just dropped his other one this morning as well, talking about the catcher situation. So go ahead and watch that as well. I'm sure Alex will change my mind on more things. Thanks, Alex. And outside of that, though, I think that's it for announcements for now. We still got some more coming.
We also announced last week that Primanti's is back in. So we've got third year of that happening. It's gonna be the same deal as last year, where after every Pirates win, come to the post game show, come to the comments. You'll have a chance to win 2 Primanti Brothers sandwiches, and we'll award 2 winners per win. So 4 sandwiches given away every single Pirates win. So let's see how many we can give out.
Let's say, it's different than last year. The roster. So maybe more wins and more sandwiches. Hopefully. Thank you, Ben. Last year was a disappointment.
Yes.
Right. So hopefully more winners this time. More Primanti Brothers sandwiches. Can't ask for anything better than that. All right. We done? We out?
I do want to say FanDuel was running a 30% profit boost on World Baseball Classic yesterday. I took Team USA. Somehow Team USA was plus money to win the first 5 innings. And I was like, Paul Skenes plus money? Like, let's go with that. So yeah, I cashed in on that bet yesterday. It was a nice World Baseball Classic profit boost they had going on.
That's a good lesson. That's a life lesson right there. Never bet against Paul Skenes. Ever. Boom.
Yep.
All right. Let's get out of here. Let's let everyone start off the weeks. 2 shows. Bucco Brew and Offbeat.
Yeah, so once you're done with this, go check out Offbeat. It's already out.
There it is. All right. We love y'all. Even if you can't see me, I love you. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for another NS9 Live. Bye-bye.
See you guys. All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.